haven't really done a video like this before, but yeah, let's talk about F1. So I've been an F1 fan, I mean, ever since I can remember, honestly. I was a Michael Schumacher fan. I went to the 1999 British Grand Prix. Michael Schumacher broke his leg, which I was a bit upset about. A massive Schumacher fan. And then Schumacher retired, and I've been a Lewis Hamilton fan pretty much ever since 2007. So I've seen the ups and downs of his career, and I thought he drove incredibly yesterday. This was the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, the finale of this season. It's been a dramatic season. It's been crazy. It's been crazy. But what I witnessed yesterday was an absolute shambles. Well, I'm gonna be honest. It was a shit show. What I witnessed, an absolute diabolical representation of F1. I've never ever seen anything remotely similar to that. The race director was pretty much changing the rules on the fly to make an entertainment show. F1 is not WWE. It is a sport. There is millions and billions of money behind whoever wins it. The driver's title is obviously the most important, hence Mercedes barely celebrated their constructor's title, which was, again, a massive achievement, but they honestly didn't care. They wanted that driver's title, and they felt like they felt like they deserved it. So what happened? Latifi decided to have a go at Mick Schumacher, and they were pretty. It was actually quite aggressive defending. There's a lot of rumours going around that maybe Mick Schumacher done it on purpose. That's obviously complete BS. But yeah, Latifi, Mick Schumacher. The Haas car is generally a lot slower. The Williams car of Latifi is normally a bit quicker. Should have been a pretty easy overtake, but they're fighting quite hard. Latifi goes off. His tyres get a little bit dirty. He then comes back on the track and decides to start racing normally. And obviously the lack of grip due to the dirt on the tyres, he ends up in the wall. So there's a very similar accident to this in practice. It caused an instant red flag. In the race, it was a safety car. And obviously instantly I'm watching the Grand Prix live. I'm like, oh no, here we go. A lot of people said at this point, Lewis Hamilton should have pitted. Yes, in hindsight, he probably should have, but let's put you in the shoes of someone at Mercedes, in the shoes of Lewis Hamilton. You led the entire race. You had a 12-second lead. Even on these older tyres, you're still outperforming Max Verstappen, and it's going pretty well. And you have the race position. So say you decide to pit. Max Verstappen is always going to do the opposite to what you do. So he would have stayed out. He would have taken race position on fairly new tyres, and Lewis Hamilton could have been second. And the race could have finished under a safety car. So Lewis Hamilton could have lost the championship in the pits. Yeah, that is the last thing you want. Because that was a pretty big crash. There was a lot of debris. There was a car to move. That takes a lot of time. So yeah, a lot of people saying, oh, Mercedes should have pitted Lewis Hamilton. Like, should have changed his tyres. Yes, but then Verstappen would have stayed out. He would have been first. And again, you don't know what's going to happen. There's no procedure. It can go on for as many laps as they wish until it's completely safe. Verstappen could have won the race behind a safety car with Lewis with new tyres in second. And that would have been... that would have been tough as well, but Mercedes would have been fuming, absolutely fuming with their internal staff. They'd been like, oh my God, what have we done? The strategy was terrific. We've screwed over our driver and he's lost the championship because of us. So obviously I decided to leave him out, keep track position and see what happens. There's only a couple of laps left. So I'm guessing they thought maybe they were going to finish the race behind the safety car. That's probably what they hoped for, honestly. Personally, at this point, at the start of the crash, the amount of debris, the amount of... the car was in a very dangerous position for Latifi to get out, for the marshals to come and collect the car. I would have red flagged it like practice. Red flagged the whole race. So that means Lewis Hamilton could have changed his tyres, Max Verstappen could have changed his tyres, and we would have had a 5-lap sprint to win the championship. And that would have been, I'm guessing in hindsight, Michael would have done that, the race director. And I think he's had a really bad season. The race director has not had a good season at all. I think both Hamilton and Verstappen fans feel like they've been treated quite badly. Is my camera shaking? Ooh. It's been to and fro. The consistency has been all off. Brazil more recently. What was it? Qatar. Was it Qatar? Saudi Arabia. That was an absolute mess as well. Oh, so much stuff happened this season, and it was just so inconsistent. The previous race director, Charlie Whiting, you barely knew he was there. Like honestly, he just done his job. Consistent. Yes, he made some mistakes along the way, but he was there for multiple years, and you never noticed the guy. You never moaned about him. He was just doing his job. He was a very good ref, basically. The rules were consistent. There was none of this absolute shambles that happened yesterday. So yeah, I would have liked to have seen a red flag. I think that would have been the fairest and probably the most funnest way to end the season. If Lewis Hamilton lost on some brand new softs, I can't complain. Like, well done for Verstappen. Like, what can you say? We move on. It'll be we start the next season. It's all good. I'm not taking anything away from Max Verstappen. He did nothing wrong yesterday, in my opinion. I don't want to see him lose the title. That would be really, really harsh and not fair at all. Incredibly quick driver. Not a big fan of the way he drives. I can't really think of anyone similar. A lot of people compare him to Senna and Michael Schumacher in terms of he's very aggressive, but I think he goes beyond that personally. But I'm a big fan of his speed. His outright speed is crazy. It's absolutely obscene. I just think I don't like his racecraft personally, but that's for another discussion. Yeah, just not a big fan of how that season finale went down. One lap with Max Verstappen on brand new softs. Lewis Hamilton had hard tyres that were on 40, 50 laps now. Was it about 40? Was it 40 laps? Yeah, the hard tyres have been on for about 40 laps, and they were struggling. And he gave it a good go. Lewis Hamilton was a sitting duck. It was put together to be an entertaining last lap. But was it a fair last lap? No. Is F1 always fair? No. Definitely not. Yeah, I was a bit speechless, honestly. I think Lewis Hamilton had such a good race. Such a good race. Absolutely maxing out the car. Much quicker than Verstappen on that day. And I just feel like on that day, I feel like he deserved it. Over the course of the season, that's for another debate. I think Max Verstappen had a great season. Again, don't always agree with his racecraft. He always expects the other driver to back out. If you don't back out, you're going to crash. It's always Hamilton having to back out all the time. And I didn't like the racing. I like to see wheel-to-wheel racing. You saw it a couple of times with Perez and Hamilton. Wheel-to-wheel racing, very similar to Mick Hakkinen, Michael Schumacher back in the day. Wheel-to-wheel, between the white lines, going at it. Hard racing, but fair racing, where it feels like Verstappen just does a lunge. And if you don't get out of the way, we're going to crash. So be it. Which is not what I call entertaining. I know a lot of people like Max, I get it, but yeah. I don't really know what to say. It just felt a bit constructed, a bit an entertainment show. And F1 is still a sport. Yes, they rely a lot on the cars. But yeah, it wasn't the F1 I grew up loving. It was like an entertainment show for Netflix. And I think it needs sorting out for next season, because that was a mess. F1 can still be really entertaining. It can still get the views. It just has to be more consistent. Stick to the rules. Yeah, I should have probably scripted this, but I'm just speaking from the heart. Yeah, I was in here watching it yesterday, and my hoodie went. Luckily, my phone is still in one piece. I was not happy at all. But there we go. That's sport. Highs and lows. I thought Hamilton was going to go ahead and win it, and then Latifi smashed into a wall. A lot of F1, like there's been a lot of people jumping into F1 recently, which I'm all for. There's a few like hardcore F1 fans that are like, no. New fans, don't go away. And it's crazy. My Twitter is, compared to like last season, it's just filled with F1 tweets. It is mad to see the growth of F1 over the last year. Drive to Survive, Max Verstappen, and Lewis Hamilton having a very close championship obviously has helped that a lot. And I think next season's going to be pretty good as well. I mean, it's new regulations. There could be a really quick one team, like one car, which could be super quick. Could be Mercedes, could be McLaren, could be Ferrari. I think it's going to be very interesting. The Mercedes team now has a much stronger lineup. Ferrari's got an incredible lineup. Sainz and Leclerc. Max Verstappen, obviously, you can never doubt Max Verstappen. I think Perez isn't quite as good as Russell or Sainz, but still a very good partnership. McLaren, Lando Norris has continued to surprise me. Next season's going to be incredible. I can't wait for it. New cars, new regulations, new fans in the sport, but I just want the rules to be more consistent. Don't make them up on the fly. I not even spoke about the back markers. So there was five back markers between Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen before the race restart. And he goes, yeah, just those 5 get out of the way. What about Sainz? Why can't Sainz go for the victory? Why can't he get all the back markers out of the way? Because if that happened, there wouldn't be enough time to do one lap at the end. It's like he's just making up rules. The rules are, even in the F1 game, this is the rules. There's no way to change the rules. It's just a set rule. All the back markers have to overtake, and I believe you have to catch up on the back, but I don't know if that's completely true or not. Like in terms of go back around and start again, basically. But there wasn't enough time for that, so they just selected the 5 cars that were in between Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton. It just felt so constructed. It felt so wrong. Honestly, I was in like bewilderment when it was happening. As a Hamilton fan, as an F1 fan, like if he lost fair and square yesterday, I'd be completely like, so be it. He deserves it. But it taints Verstappen's first championship, and I think when most of the F1 drivers watch that back, they're gonna be confused as to what they've just witnessed, and a bit concerned. Say Lando Norris is about to win his championship, and there's a safety car right at the end, and Lewis Hamilton's in second, and they just move the cars out of the way, and that happens again. Lando Norris would not want to be in that position. Leclerc would not want to be in that position. It feels constructed. It's an entertainment, but it's a sport as well, and we can't forget that. Anyway, I'll leave it there. Bit of a random video, just talking into a camera. We should move those Amazon boxes. What a view. What a lovely view. You can tell this is a bit random. I wasn't quite sure what to do today, and I thought, I can't get this off my head. Maybe talking about it would be better. But yeah, no doubt in Verstappen deserves the title. No doubt in Hamilton definitely deserved the title yesterday as well. So it feels a bit weird. I think whatever happened yesterday would have been a bittersweet, but the way it ended was really wrong. Very, very wrong. Yeah, there we go. Thank you guys for watching. Welcome, new F1 fans. It's not normally this chaotic, honestly. It's normally a bit more chilled. Normally it's Lewis Hamilton just driving off into the distance and winning a race. It's been different this year. Even like more recently, it was Vettel, the Ferrari. They were cheating, and the FIA just gave them a I think a penalty, like a what was it, like a paid penalty. They had to pay like $1 million to the FIA for cheating. So they found out the whole season the engine had not been to regulation standards. And they're like, yeah, that's fine. Pay us. It's like, what? And Ferrari were quite close to beating Mercedes that season as well. Anyway, we move on. Again, we need to sort of knuckle down on and be more consistent. And I think F1 can have a very bright future. Bye-bye.